Look at this handsome young man. Anyway, what I learned in the military was quite a lot. But here are three lessons that I absolutely learned about life by spending a bit of time in the woods. And so, the first thing that I absolutely learned is that we take so many things for granted. Too many things for granted. Because let me tell you, when you're for a week sleeping in a tent, minus 20 Celsius, that sucks a bit. And all of a sudden, just being able to go inside and feel a bit of warmth, to have a warm bed, to have even food that you yourself choose, that, being able to take a shower, such basic things become luxury. And so too many things in our lives are taken for granted, and we just kind of live like that. And most people never go through any kind of hard experience that would actually teach them the amazing things that we have in our day-to-day lives. I mean, just the fact that you can do what you want to do. No one's telling you what to do. No one's screaming in your ear. Like, that's quite a good thing. But we take it for granted. Even though it wasn't always like this. I mean, you could have been born 1,000 years ago as a slave or something. So, we should never take things for granted. That's the first thing that I learned. And when I learned this, I started thinking about all the things that I took for granted. Like, literally everything. And it made me think. Let's say, imagine if you were born on Mars. Just imagine. 100 years in the future, humanity has a permanent base on Mars. And you were born there. How would you feel? Now, if you are here on Earth, you might look outside the window and you might be like, damn, it's raining. What horrible weather. But if you were that person born on Mars, you would give everything you have to be on Earth and to experience the rain. You would literally give as much money as you have, all your possessions, everything, just so you could for once in your life experience the water running down your face. For you to be able to even go outside without a spacesuit. Like, some of these things are such luxury, and it could very well be that in the future people born on Mars or on other planets or just in space in general won't be able to experience any of the things that we have on Earth. Yet we take them for granted. And yeah, it's easy to take them for granted because they're right there. And you don't really have to think about it in your day-to-day life. You can just go outside and breathe air. You don't actually have to do anything special. You get oxygen into your lungs. But all of these things are simply things that we took for granted. And it could be that in the future, or if we look in the past, there have been people who didn't have these things. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I don't take things for granted, because I'm certainly not. But what I want you to do is to try to practice to consciously be more grateful for absolutely even the absolutely small things that we have, because it will simply make your life better. The more grateful you are, the more satisfied you will be with your life. And so your life will simply get better as you become more grateful. Now, the second thing that I learned in the military is that you can push through pain and continue despite it. As you can imagine, in the military you might have to do some stuff that sucks, that is not quite nice. That's something that you don't really want to do and you wouldn't do if you didn't have to. Things that might be painful, literally. And so what I learned from those experiences is that pain will not stop you. And you can push through it. You can go on despite it. And so when you are struggling, when you're going through hard times, it doesn't have to stop you. And it's one of those lessons that I use today, right now. Like, if I look at the state of my YouTube channel, yeah, it's a bit painful to look at that page. It's every day I kind of wonder, why am I even doing this? Is this worthy? Is this worth all the work that I'm putting in? It's a bit painful. to keep making videos and to not get anything out of it. Yet I can continue to do it anyway. Pain shouldn't stop you. Your mind should decide when you stop and when you're done. Not pain, not suffering, not struggle, none of those things. And so if you are doing anything hard in your life and you have those feelings of hopelessness where you want to quit, everything is telling you quit, quit, quit. Your body is saying it's too painful, it's too much, you're too exhausted. Maybe even your mind is telling you that. You can ignore those signs and you can continue despite them. And it's a skill that you can learn. And many people call it just discipline, which it is absolutely. And when you learn the skill to ignore all the feelings, ignore exhaustion, ignore the feelings of tiredness, ignore even pain, and you continue to do the correct things despite that, well, surprise, surprise. Well, it's probably not a surprise to anyone. But you will achieve a lot more because you will do a lot more. The number one thing stopping us humans is our mind. And pain is simply a thing in our mind. And as long as you can ignore it and kind of push it to the side, you'll do a lot better. Because most people don't actually quit because they have to quit. They quit because they want to quit. And so if you ignore your wants and you don't quit because you want to quit and you keep going because you can continue, you will go a lot further. Whether it be physically, in a race, maybe you're running, you want to quit, but your body still has so much more to give. And that's another thing that I learned. Your body can be pushed to such limits. And those limits you don't even know. Your mind will literally give out before your body will. Trust me. And so you can push yourself. You can work 12-hour days, 7 days a week for a few weeks. Absolutely. That's possible. If you just decide to do it. Your mind will say, I want to quit. But you can go on. You can ignore that. And when you learn that, that's when you can achieve super great things. And once again, I want to tell this as like a personal experience that I've had. Not only in the military, but with these YouTube videos. I have wanted to quit. I have wanted to stop. I wanted to give up. My mind was telling me, give up, give up. You're not going to get anything out of this. You're not going to achieve anything. It's not worth it. But I can continue anyway. And so if you're going through any hard time, you're doubting yourself, you're going through a hard period where you want to quit, you want to give up, I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, you can keep going because you're capable of it. All humans are capable of it. And so if you just decide to continue, you can. And the third and final thing, but certainly not the least, is that you can enjoy the little things. And you should learn to enjoy the little things. We can look at the previous example. Let's say you're for a week, you're in the winter, cold forest, in a tent, doing stuff that you don't want to do. That's not really good. But you can find joy in the very small things. There's probably nothing big to be happy about. Looking at the situation, there's nothing really to be positive about. But you can find happiness in the fact that, hey, I got warm food 2 times a day. And, it heat up my arms and my fingers that were cold. Just being able to hold a bowl of food that is hot and it's warming up your hands. That can be such an experience that where you're like, oh, you know what? Everything's fine. Or you change your socks from wet socks to fresh socks. And you're like a new man. Literally. And so you can learn to enjoy these very small things. And it's a skill that you can once again practice through repetition and consciously learning to, enjoy the smaller things in life. And once again, the reason for that is because it will help you to continue move forward. Once again, if there is nothing big happening in your life that you can be happy about, You know, everyone has periods of time where everything seems to be going wrong. Well, there is nothing big that you can be positive about. Nothing good has happened. So the only way for you to find any kind of joy, any kind of reason to continue moving forward, is to find joy and happiness and satisfaction from very small things, very small victories. And when you practice that in your day-to-day life of, hey, you know what, I got food that tastes okay. You know, maybe I lost my job, maybe wife left, took the kids, took half my money, you know, whatever. But hey, at least I got some nice food. You know, but when you can find even tiny bit of happiness from such a small thing, all of a sudden life is a lot better. And once again, it comes down to this fact of it allows you to endure those hard times. It allows you to endure through the pain. And when you can endure through tough times and pain and struggle and hardship and all the challenges that life will inevitably throw at you, when you can survive that and go through it, you will be a different person and you will achieve a lot more and you will have an objectively better life. You will have more stories to tell. You will have more things to look back on with pride because you've achieved and you've conquered challenges. You've slayed dragons. And so those were the 3 lessons that I learned from the military that you hopefully can apply to your life and have a better life. Even though you probably aren't in the military right now, you can still use them in your day-to-day life to be happier, achieve more, and be a bit grateful. And so, as always, stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.